are back on the Morning Brew, and well, friend Jeremy Reynolds is here with Elma. This is great to have you guys on. And Jeremy, you guys at at Joy Junction have been doing a lot lately. It seems to be you're doing more and more, right?
We try. You know what, Dan? Because the need is more and more, and somebody has to step up and do some stuff. And we just figure whenever we can, we'll step up and do.
Yeah. Well, I know one of the interesting things that I want to get to first is you got a digital interactive map that you guys are using.
You know, it's really, really cool. Because what happened is I've discovered going around town, talking to friends, speaking to people out at events. They want to do something, but they're not quite sure what they should do.
Right.
So thanks to some other media friends who came up with a digital interactive map. Say that fast 3 times.
Digital interactive map.
Yeah. Okay, you did it because you're a professional. And they were using it, for other reasons. I contacted the folks that help us out with our websites and said, can you make me a digital interactive map whereby when people go around town and they see clumps or groups of 3 or more homeless folks, they can go home and they can pin that onto the map. We'll then check the map and we'll go out to see if we can help with our mobile feeding unit or with coats, blankets, jackets, or whatever.
And here's the map right here.
Yeah,
cool? I think a lot of people say...
You see, these are pins that people have pinned on already.
And that's where people have found groups of homeless people.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, and well, in kind of a sad way, it's cool.
But yeah.
But
we have such a great city here, and I think people see, these guys out on the street, they're going like, oh, what can I do?
Right.
One thing you can do, and it's free. Obviously, you can go home and you can go, pin, you can electronically pin. Who would have thought that when you and me were growing up?
I know, right? It's amazing. I love this stuff.
Well, when I was growing up, you're a little bit younger than me.
I can do it from my phone too, right?
Yeah, I hope.
Okay, excellent. The city's homeless situation has gotten a lot of attention lately.
Boy, has it.
I know that the downtown is trying to go through its own revitalization again, and with that has been some of the services moving out of downtown.
The reincarnation of the urbanization, of the revitalization of the urbanization.
With urban renewal thrown in there somewhere.
Of course. Yes.
And so with that, though, I mean, the services that people count on, a lot of the homeless population in town, the services those people count on are now moving north. And, I mean, that's created some interesting situations, too, right?
It really has, Dan. And what's sad is I was approached last week at an event by a lady who seemed to be very angry. And because where these agencies have moved to, the way the new areas are zoned, they don't need to go before a formal committee to become approved. By virtue of the way they're zoned already, they're approved already. And this woman came up to me, she seemed to be very angry and saying, it's not fair, they can't be approved. Or rather, it's not fair, they don't have to ask to be approved. I'm thinking, okay. And she's like, we need to spread services all over town. I understand that. But here's the issue, Dan. I was Facebook several times over the weekend about the panhandling issue. People were saying, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I had 2 answers. One was dialogue intelligently. Don't be screaming at you.
Right.
But dialogue intelligently and realize that as a responsible, caring community, I can't say, well, Dan, you do it.
Right.
You do it.
Right.
So whose responsibility is it, love?
Well, it's us.
It's us.
Right. So I know the mayor has the initiative on panhandling, right? And how well is that working for the folks you serve? Are you finding that they're being able to get services or not?
No, the mayor and me, the mayor's not too happy with me these days because I had my staff do some undercover work a few weeks ago, and it's on our blog site at our webpage. For one thing, the 311 signs, the 311 number, it began when Mayor Chavez was in office, as you know. It originally opened day and night, 24/7, all right? But then I guess due to monetary issues, which we all face, it became cut back to like 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and not on Sundays. So if we arrive in town, Jeremy and Elma and our homeless friend writer Dan at 3 in the morning, guess what? We're out of luck.
Right.
And also the 311 operators, I've had good experience with them on other issues, but Dan, they're generalists. So I had several of my staff call them undercover a few weeks back.
And what'd you find out?
Well, they were primarily, the 311 operators don't know what they're doing, and they were misdirected to services that didn't meet their need, and worse than that, they were directed to services that were closed.
So how do you help? What do we do in those kinds of situations? How do we help because, and I've always wondered too about this, does the regular homeless person who is looking for services and looking for help, do they have a phone? Are they able to access these kinds
You
of
have an
things?
Obama phone. You know, some of them have, you know, the free phone.
Yeah.
Which is good. People laugh about it, but you know, it is
helps.
important for a homeless person to have a phone, because otherwise, think how you would feel without your phone.
Oh,
I mean,
I'd be
I would
lost.
be like,
I'd be lost.
"Oh, where's my phone? Where's my
Right.
phone? Where's my phone? You know, and so it's important they have a phone. They can access it, but if they access 311, guess what? They need help, and that isn't happening.
Right.
That isn't happening.
What is the status of the homeless situation right now in Albuquerque? I know that it seems like, and I don't know if this is just my own anecdotal, you know, living and working downtown experience, that it's gotten worse. There seems to be more people on the streets, more people needing help than I've seen in recent memory.
I would say it's gotten worse. At first, up until a few weeks ago, I would have said it has stayed static, but the number of meals we serve on our mobile feeding unit, we feed down all around town from southeast Albuquerque to southwest Albuquerque. We feed about 6,000 meals a month in our place in the valley, another 10,000 meals a month. But we're seeing more and more people down who have a place to stay, maybe a motel room or whatever, but they have to make a nightly choice between a place to stay or having a meal.
Right.
So we give them a hot meal they can eat right then,
Right.
and we give them like a sack lunch with, like, you know, ramen noodle soup and a bar and whatever, and they can eat that later.
Right.
In the 3 months you've been here, well, what would you say? Have you seen it worse?
Well, I think it's just, I'm seeing all these homeless people like on the street, but more like a lot going to the shelter, and there's a lot of shelter here. It's really, really getting worse. It's not like there is enough solution. So,
Right. So what do we do?
well, you know,
Is it
It's-
more services? Is it more money? Is it? I mean, where do you go from having a shelter to actually getting people employed and helping?
it's a in the community here. It's really amazing. I'm new here in New Mexico. It's my
Yeah.
first time in America.
Yeah.
And I love-
Newlyweds too, right?
Newlyweds.
Yeah, it's
Right.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by
Thank
the
you.
way, guys.
It's like I'm so amazed how the community responds to the needs of the homeless shelter like Joy Junction. They're really supporting, and the community can help in any way they can. It's not only financially, they can donate their time, and they can donate anything that they don't need at home that we can still use at the shelter, or you know, we have many ways to do. And even families, even now is a vacation for kids, they can go to Joy Junction as a family and donate to them, volunteer, serve the homeless people there.
Beyond volunteering, beyond helping on the shelter level, I mean, what can we do as a community level? I mean, there clearly is an issue, and it seems to be getting a little more attention, but also worse. So, what do you do
Folks
to
are
help?
angry, Dan.
Is it?
And, you know,
Is it
you
an
know,
economy thing? Is it?
in sort of mission talk, we have what we call, have you ever heard of the acronym NIMBY?
Yes, not
Yes,
in my backyard.
not in my backyard.
Yes.
So what people say is, you know what, Dan, I really want to help the homeless, but
Keep them downtown.
keep them downtown with Dan
Right.
in the morning brew. They can come and get some free Java from you in the morning.
Right.
But you know, if we're going to act responsibly as a community, we have to realize we all have to help. And I also put on a blog posting I wrote the other day that there are some federal and state issues that go beyond the mayor's ability to help.
Right.
Like telling somebody who's mentally ill, not giving him or her the option of wandering the streets. You have to say, you know, you may need to be involuntarily committed, which gets into a whole other free speech and rights issue, and probably end up with a lawsuit for doing that also.
Right.
Plus, there's something called Megan's Law, which came out a few weeks ago, a few years ago, which in many towns around the U.S. obligated mentally ill people to take their meds.
Right.
Guess what? I believe our city council passed it. It was challenged and shut down. Folks,
Right.
you're not doing any favor if you have a mentally ill person who needs and can function well on meds. If you got Dan, I mean, say you would just jump up on here and take all your take your shirt off and your pants and your jacket. You say, I'm fine. No, you're not. Take meds. And then the friendly civil libertarian comes along and says, Dan, you don't have to take your meds. Would you prefer to be naked on the table and not on meds, or would you prefer to be in your right mind and taking meds?
Well, that's a bit of an extreme example, but I mean, there are people who just, if you take that one little thing, it helps you, makes you employable.
It will make you employable and help you function daily. But of course, in our state, or town, we don't have that.
Right.
So there's some other issues that
So
even
what do
if
we
Barry
really
tried
do?
to, yeah.
I mean, sure, we can talk about taking meds. We can talk about volunteering more. I mean, what communities are succeeding at this?
I don't know any community that is any better off or worse than ours. I'm sure there are many, but I think I've been telling folks over our website, over our social media, if you want to help the homeless in Albuquerque, let's not scream and say, Dan, it's your responsibility. Let's talk and dialogue to each other and say, as a caring community,
Let's all
as
get
Alma
together.
said, supports many missions already, it is our responsibility. Of course, and by contacting us, we will help you help the needy and the poor and the hungry.
And then, of course, go to the website and check out the Joy Junction website and check out the map. You can pin people if you see that they need help.
Indeed.
We'll be back in a couple of seconds. We're going to taste some tea here in a second with our friends from Delicious Sip on the Morning Brew.